Let's put on our Granger hats and let's say we've walked into the customer facility. Let's say it's a manufacturing facility. You're out on the shop floor. You notice that some of the wire and cable that hook up to a big piece of heavy machinery, it looks a little worn out. Who should they be talking to, and what kinds of questions should they ask that person?
Well, that's a great question. So in the different environments, I think you'd have a different person. Typically, if you're in a factory environment on a plant floor, that plant manager kind of runs the deal. So if they have, it's likely, I think the Granger seller has contacts with the plant manager, but that is probably somebody that they'd want to talk to about that wire. Now, one of the points I would make, both in that plant floor environment, but also when they get into the office space, is one of the things that I think is true when you get to wire and cable sales is that the cost of the total solution, if you look at the total cost, the amount that customer spends in wire is so small, it's almost a rounding error. So if you think about it, if you're on a factory floor and there's some wire that looks damaged or isn't transmitting, the cost of the machinery that's in place, the cost of 1 hour of downtime is so much more than the cost of wiring infrastructure that you really want to sell value at that point. And you would ask like what kind of questions you might want to ask. I would just ask, how much does it cost you for an hour's downtime? Something like that, that plant manager will know immediately what you're getting at. I would also point out
they've probably been there before too, and
yeah.
they don't want that to happen.
I would also point out that the durability of a product is really important too, especially when you talk about copper products. As soon as you start working with copper products, bending it, working with it, etc., you're changing the electrical structure of it, and you're degrading the signal, which means that you're not going to get as much capability out of your machines. Your machines aren't going to run as long. You're not getting out of those machines what you paid so much money to get. So value really matters when it comes to wire and cable products. If you go out back into the office environment, it's the same thing. If you look at the speed of the chips and how quickly our computers are being updated, upgraded, etc., the wire doesn't always keep up. And so if you don't have the right infrastructure, whether it be wired or wireless, your machine that's on your desk is not going to give you the kind of computing power you want. I've talked a lot about wire, but we also sell wireless products. The name change WireXpress is not going to happen, but we do look at that as one of the non-wire product areas that we participate in and can help customers.